Hello, I'm Richard Brunst, the current mayor of Orem. I have lived in Orem for 25 years. I'm married to my wife Tammy and I have 4 children. I love Orem. I love the fact that it's a very safe place to live. It's a very relaxed, peaceful place to live, and yet it's a very energetic place to live. I have owned my own business in the pipe industry for 31 years. I started a real estate appraisal company and sold it to another firm. I also started a plastic recycling company and sold it to another company as well. When I came to look at some of the issues in Orem, I had a friend of mine, Dave Spencer, who's currently on the city council and also running for re-election, call me up. Our families have been friends for many years due to the fact that our kids are the same ages for part of our family, and we did a lot of activities together. He asked if I would come down to city council one night and help him with a baseball parking lot issue. So I went down there with him, watched what was going on, had some concerns. He asked if I wanted to go back to city council 2 weeks later. So I said, yes, I'd like to do that. So we both went back to city council, and at the end of city council meeting, he looked at me and he said, I think I'm going to run for city council. And he said, I think you would make a great mayor. Why don't you run for mayor? And I said, I'm concerned enough about the issues I'm seeing that I think I'd like to do that. So he and I actually went to city council meetings for the next year and a half, almost every city council meeting. I got involved with the mayor, I got involved with the city council members and the city manager on issues such as lighting fees, such as UTOPIA, such as the salary of the librarian, such as the property tax proposed increase and proposed fee increases. I worked very hard on that, and in fact, when we had the Truth and Taxation meeting in August, I was there and suggesting to the council what I thought would be a better way rather than raising property taxes up so high, and they accepted my proposal to cut their proposal in half. Later, a referendum was held, and it stopped any property tax increase from going forward. But I've been very involved with city government for the better part of 2 years prior to running for mayor. And I ran for mayor to work on the issues. And I love working with challenges. I looked at Midtown Village, could see that needed some help, needed to be solved. I looked at the revenues with the city, and I explained to those that I would meet with in city council that in fact, while our revenues were down, after reading the financial statement and looking at our revenue chart, that our revenues were bottoming out and starting to go back up, and there was no need for a property tax increase. So I've been involved for a long time. I've loved the work that I've been involved with, and to me, I want to build for the future of Orem. Orem is a wonderful place to live, and we are one of the fastest growing counties in the nation. In fact, the state of Utah is the fastest growing state in the nation, and Utah County is the fastest growing county in the state of Utah. So that puts a lot of pressure on areas within our great city, and one of those areas is in regards to the Utah Valley University. One thing that probably ought to be brought out is the fact that within Utah County, 4 out of every 5 college-age students who go to college go to Utah Valley University. Our city has the second largest or highest birth rate in the nation, and our city also has the second highest group of 18-year-olds and below who live within our city. So there are a lot of youth and our families who need and want an education. We are one of the most educated cities in the nation. We're, I believe, within the top 20. So that puts a lot of pressure on our university. Utah Valley University is an open enrollment university. Thereby, anyone who wants to get an education there can do so. So it's important that we look at what we're doing in that part of the community. It's important that we work with the neighbors, that we coordinate with the university, and that we work together as a city with those groups. As I watch what's going on over at Utah Valley University, I see that there are housing issues that we need to deal with. So those really come down to an individual basis. I am particularly in favor of making sure that our neighborhoods are protected, those within our community and those next to UVU. I'm also concerned that our children are able to get an education. Interestingly enough, when I talk to groups that are working with UVU and with the neighbors, such as SWONA and others, I will invariably ask them if their kids have gone to UVU. Invariably, every family has had children go to UVU for their education. So this is an important part of our community. We want to support Utah Valley University, but we also want to support the community and make sure that the university is not overstepping its bounds where it's taking advantage of the neighborhood. So we want to work on that closely together. I've worked hard in the last year to get a pedestrian bridge coming from the west side of the freeway over to Utah Valley University so we could slow down the traffic coming over there. We did get that passed. I put forward the motion to get that passed through our local county funding sources, and consequently that is going to be a huge help. There is a piece of property just west of Utah Valley University and just east of the railroad tracks that most people were not paying attention to. I brought that to the attention of Utah Valley University as a possible area of expansion to the west. It's important that we look at ways to deal with the traffic, to deal with freshman and sophomore housing, and I believe that we're working hard to do that. So for the future, I think it's important that we work together. One thing to remember as we look at this, there are certain constraints on a university. So a university has physical restraints, monetary restraints. They have physical restraints as far as their territory goes. They also have restraints as far as how they educate the students. So our education process is changing where we're using more technology. We're doing it where we're not having to have the students come to the professors, but actually where the professors can go to the students. The other thing Utah Valley University has done, they have recently purchased 30 acres in Payson. They have purchased 212 acres in Vineyard. They have purchased land at Thanksgiving Point. They have a campus up in Heber, and they have other facilities that they're working on. So as I've watched other universities, Arizona State University, University of Arizona, Rutgers University, the largest in New Jersey, and how they have dealt with the growth, they have dealt with it with new methods of teaching, with moving students out to various campus locations that are not on the main campus. And they have dealt with it in looking at ways to say, all right, we don't necessarily need to have the students come to us, we'll come to them. So I think it's an ongoing process. We want our children educated. We want the communities around UVU, the neighborhoods to be protected and to have good neighborhoods, quality neighborhoods, and value there. So I think it takes all three of us working together. So UTOPIA has been a big issue in our city for many years. When I ran 4 years ago, I said that I wanted to do 4 things in regards to UTOPIA to try to help move it along. So the first thing I wanted to do was to change the management. Management at UTOPIA changed within several months after my becoming mayor. Second of all, I wanted to bring in a board of advisors of industry professionals. I did that. I brought in 3 or 4 industry professionals, and we put together a team and we did advice to UTOPIA. We talked with the ISPs. We met with the mayors. We worked hard on that. The third area I wanted to do was to slow down the spending that UTOPIA is doing. I've suggested that over and over again. I have not been successful in that. I did serve on the UTOPIA Board of Directors for 2 years. I serve now as an alternate. I've requested and worked very hard to slow their spending down. Again, I've not been able to do that. I do have 4 other cities that have agreed with me, and we have pushed forward trying to get that taken care of. But as 11 cities that own and run UTOPIA, there are 3 cities who have a population majority, and so if they decide to vote a certain way, then that's the way UTOPIA goes. The last thing I recommended that we do is either sell or partner UTOPIA with another company. I can see some real advantages to that. I've seen many other companies do that throughout the U.S. We did have a company that looked at possibly purchasing UTOPIA, and the management was against that and did not go forward with that. So I've worked hard on UTOPIA. Just to let you know, in the last 2 months, I have had private meetings with the management of UTOPIA, the CEO, the CFO, the CMO, on ideas and ways that I think might be a help to UTOPIA. Just this last week, I met with the state director on fiber for the Utah Department of Transportation. And also I met with a private owner of fiber within the city on ways that we and together think that we might be able to solve some of the problems. So I would like to see the debt go down. I'm against any future or additional debt for UTOPIA. I'm against any utility fees for UTOPIA on every citizen. I am for ways to improve construction. So UTOPIA really has 2 parts to it. It has an operational part, which is cash flow positive right now, which is excellent. UTOPIA's done a great job with that. But at the same time, they're still spending $1 million a month of debt money going out and constructing new lines. I believe instead of looking at this as a debt model, we should look at it as a demand model. And I've been working with several groups of citizens in Orem, together with UTOPIA management, to look at ways that we can market better, that we can get a higher take rate, that we can get UTOPIA fiber to those who want it and are willing to pay for it, and that we won't go into debt to do this. So these are important areas. I personally love fiber. I have fiber to my home. As I walk the city streets during my campaign, I have many people ask me, can we please get fiber to our homes? The reality is we need to find a way that we are not continually going into debt. So again, I would like to look at a model that is demand-driven rather than debt-driven, and that we stop going into debt. One thing that's important to remember is fiber is a great advantage for many homes, and I love what fiber is. I just have not liked the way this has been run, and I'm against going into more debt. With that said, UTOPIA is building out, UIA is building out part of our city down by the Sleepy Ridge Golf Course this summer, and bringing fiber to that neighborhood. So the 2 things we'd like to do is bring the debt down, get rid of the debt, and then if there's a way to bring fiber to others through a demand model, do that. So UTOPIA stands for Utah Telecommunications Open Infrastructure Agency. It was set up in 2004. Orem signed up with it and signed a contract with them. Presently, UTOPIA has $185 million worth of debt, of which 23% of that belongs to the city of Orem. We are required by law to pay down that debt. We are paying it down at the rate of $3 million per year, and it goes up by 2% per year. And that will continue on until the year of 2040. We are not allowed to get out of UTOPIA. We have responsibility to pay those bonds. Right now, the revenue stream from UTOPIA does not pay for that. So we, out of pledges of our sales tax, are obligated to pay that to the bondholders. If anybody were to get out, it would affect their bond rating and would not be beneficial. The contract with UTOPIA states that no one is allowed to leave the organization until all bonds are paid off. So it is not an option to leave. we have an obligation to pay, and so we're trying to deal with it the best way we can. Another agency was started in 2010 called the Utah Infrastructure Agency. This involves 9 out of the 11 Utopia cities. There are $65 million of debt for that, and that is being paid through the through the revenues of UIA, and so we do not pay any bond payments on that. It's important to realize that Utopia is comprised of 11 cities, and we have obligations to meet. So what we're trying to do is find the best way to keep our debt down, to keep from going into more debt, and finding ways to pay that debt off, while at the same time looking at ways that those who want Utopia can get fiber to their homes. So in February of 2017, we had a retreat for our city council. During that retreat, we had a presentation from city staff on the city center master plan. One concern we've had in our city is that our city center building is 47 years old. We had a fire last year, an electrical fire in the building. We have a roof that needs to be replaced, and that needs to be replaced fairly soon. We have a lot of safety standards that are not up to date. We have a lot of security standards that are not up to date. And probably one of the biggest ones is that our building does not meet the basic seismic code. The building is really unreinforced brick. And because of that, if we were to have lateral movement due to an earthquake, the building would collapse. So that's been a very large concern to me. Back in 1995, the Senior Citizen Center burned to the ground, and we built a new one for $3 million. Then later in 1995, we built a new children's library for $4 million. In the year 2000, we built a new safety building for our police and fire department, and that was great. And then in 2006, we built a brand new public works building over on the west side. So we've had a regular building program going on within the city of Orem to keep our buildings updated, to keep them safe. So the city center is the one that needs to be looked at next. It is not safe. It is not up to date. It certainly is not state of the art, being 47 years old. So we have looked at what it would take to rebuild and refurnish the building versus building new. So the first thing we would have to do is bring the building up to seismic code standards. This would take a tremendous amount of reinforcement in the building. We've also looked at what it would take to update our electrical and technology side of the building. And then lastly, what it would take to upgrade our HVAC, our air conditioning, heating, and so forth, together with safety and security. So to completely refinish and redo our building to bring it up to current standards would take $15.5 million. If we were to add in there a 311 phone center for people to call in on for information, that would add another $900,000, so it would take it up to $16.4 million. We have received quotes from contractors to build a brand new city center for $16.5 million. So basically the cost is identical. So this is a concern to me on the safety factor. The city council chambers, while you go in there and it looks like they're 2 stories tall, there's really a fake ceiling in there. They're really 3 stories tall. That's all unreinforced brick. If we had lateral movement, everyone from the public to the council would be killed. If that is going to be our center for emergencies to get things done, we need to have a good and proper building. Just to give you an idea, a lot of cities have built new buildings where their buildings have been similar in age. So Springville has built a new city center. Bluffdale recently built a new one. Draper built one not too long ago, about 10 years ago actually. Linden built a new city center. Many communities within the state of Utah have done this. So this is a concern. For my view, I would like to have the public look at this. I would like to put all the information out on our website, on open houses, to have people view it and determine if they feel like this is a proper way to go. We have some bonds that have retired and are retiring that could be replaced with the bonds for the city center, so there would be no additional money going to any citizens or taxes. But this is something that does need to be addressed as we address the Public Works building, the Public Safety building, the library, and the Senior Citizen Center. The City Center building is now in line to be replaced, and it's something that we should address in the coming year. Thank you. So economic growth within the city is necessary so that we can keep our taxes low and so that we have the facilities and the stores in the city that we want. Right now we have the University Mall with a $500 million expansion going on. That goes over about an 8 to 10 year period. So we still have that going forward for another 4 to 7 years. That money goes through our community in a ripple effect, and so it actually brings money into restaurants, car dealers, construction companies, all kinds of people within our community. To give you an idea, even our McDonald's has just been rebuilt and is twice the size, not twice the size, but bigger than what it was. So our community is moving forward. We want to work with the small businesses as well as the big businesses. There are many incentives that are available through the state and the city to both small and large businesses. We do have a revolving loan fund for small businesses that has been used and used well. Just to let you know, we're working with businesses throughout the community. So right now we have a new restaurant that's going to be coming over to Midtown Village. We have 4 or 5 new business parks that are being built in the city, some on the west side, some on the northeast side. We have 2 new industrial parks that are planned. One is being built right now. We've had major companies move into our city. W.W. Clyde has brought their headquarters to Orem. Alder Security, number 5 security in the nation according to them, has moved their headquarters here from being up north. As you know, Trader Joe's is coming in. We have Al's Sporting Goods coming in. In fact, we have over 60 businesses and restaurants that have come in to Orem. And the thing that I keep hearing is this is the place they want to be. They see the excitement, they see the growth, they see what's happening here, and they want to be here. We recently had a new pizza restaurant come into the mall. They wanted to come here. Tucanos, when leaving Provo, they wanted to be here. It's like that over and over again. So I think our economic engine is strong, is moving forward. We are one of the retail leaders in the county. If you notice our car dealerships, they're refurbishing their dealerships. They're getting bigger. A lot of great things are happening in Orem. So 60 businesses and restaurants have come into Orem since I took office as mayor. And this is a pretty dynamic situation because this brings a lot of excitement and growth to our community. And as an example, Nordstrom's came back with Nordstrom's Rack. Like I say, Timpanaki Restaurant has come in here. Tucanos has come in here. R.C. Willey has consolidated their store in Provo with the one in Orem. They've come in here. Ashley Furniture has come in here. Zaxby's has come in here. And I can go on and on and on. A lot of businesses want to come to Orem. So in Orem, we passed a State Street master plan, a foundation master plan. It is not finished yet, and we're still working on it. It basically addresses 5 districts along State Street where we're trying to improve the quality of the State Street there in that area. So we deal with the area around the University Mall, around the Arts District, around the Sierra, around the City Center, We deal with the area around Macy's and 8th North, and then the area up on 2000 North. These areas do not take in the entire State Street, they take in a portion. And basically what we're saying is we would like to, first of all, improve the landscaping. If you drive along State Street, you'll notice that you have 9-foot wide or 6-foot wide sidewalks on both sides. So you see a lot of cement. We would actually like to move the landscaping as a buffer out to the street and then have the sidewalk and then have the buildings. And any new buildings that are built, we would like to have them build closer to State Street and have the parking more in the back. So as city council members, some of us went up to Hillsboro, Oregon a month and a half ago, and they actually have constructed their city in this manner, and it's beautiful, and we took a look at it. If you look at University Parkway as an example, where they're putting in the bus rapid transit system. First of all, no lanes of traffic are being taken out, and yes, all the landscaping is being taken out, but we're putting in twice as much landscaping for the future, and it's going to be beautiful. But what I want to bring up with that is if you look on the south side of the road, you will notice that it's set up for a buffered landscaping area, then a sidewalk, and then the business after that. So that's how we'd kind of like to structure State Street. We'd like to work with the small businesses that are there to help them progress. Any business that is there right now will be allowed to stay there, encouraged to stay there for as long as they want. But as new businesses come in, we would like to not have every business be one kind of business along State Street, but we'd like to have a variety. And so that's why we're trying to work at that to set up a program where we're bringing in various kinds of businesses along there. I think it'll be a real benefit. I think it will beautify State Street. State Street has been described as one of the ugliest streets in the nation. We want to change that. I think you'll find the University Parkway is going to be very beautiful. We want to make State Street beautiful. We do want to work with the businesses there, and as such, I and the City Council are planning on walking the streets and meeting with the businesses over the next few months to get additional ideas from them on what will help them. We have the Mountain Land Area Government Transportation 40-year plan, and in the 40-year plan it talks about having mass transit go down State Street in Orem. This is something that is a future thought. Whether that will ever occur or not, I have no idea. We're looking at ways to help move people within our community and keep our pollution down and make ways that our community can move around in a better method without so much congestion of traffic. Again, have no idea whether that would ever come to pass. It's a thought that's been put out there by Mountain Land Area Government. So one thing that we have looked at doing in Orem as part of our master plan is to put in some additional roads going east and west between State Street and Orem Boulevard and also to the east so that we break up these long distances between stoplights. That actually allows people to walk more, to bike more. It also gives us more space for stores. Again, this is a future thought and concept to help make our city more walkable and also to make traffic easier to work with. So Orem is a very special place, one of the best places in the United States. When I travel overseas, when I travel throughout the U.S., I'm always happy to get back to Orem. Again, as I've said before, it's peaceful, it's quiet, it's safe, and we've got great amenities here. So one thing that I like to do is try to beautify Orem. We had a new apartment complex come in on Center Street by the freeway. When that occurred, I asked the owners of the complex if they wouldn't put in a waterfall with rocks and flowers, put our Orem insignia on that, and make that a really nice entrance into the city of Orem. And they agreed to do it, and they did it. So when you drive in on Center Street, if you look to your left, you'll see that. We beautified the entrance to the cemetery with new trees, an updated sign. I think you'll really like that. We've put in a new sidewalk in front of the Sierra. We've put in additional sidewalks at different projects throughout the city to help beautify it. We're concerned that Orem stay the wonderful place that it is. It really is Family City, USA. As I walk the streets of Orem, the thing I'm most impressed with is the quality and the strength of the families that we have. They care about their neighborhoods. They take good care of their houses. They care about the people around them. They care about other people's kids. It's just a great community to live in. So a couple of things that we've tried to do as a city. We've put in recently neighborhood master plans as to how we would protect a particular neighborhood. Cherry Hill as an example, or in Heather Ridge as another example. And we bring in a lot of public. We have tried to get as much public input as possible into what we're doing. Transparency is a big item for my administration, and we've brought people in on this process. As an example, we have some high-density developers who have wanted to come into neighborhoods and put in a new development. I have not been in favor of that. So recently we turned down a development over in the southwest side of Orem. We've turned one up or turned one off over in the northeast side. We've turned another one over on the west side. So we've tried to sit there and say, how do we protect our neighborhoods and keep them strong? At the same time, we've wanted to use money for new parks. So we have 3 new parks since I've become mayor. We have an All Abilities Park, which is done through volunteer donations and volunteer help together with the care tax. That's a wonderful, wonderful park for children of all abilities and those with disabilities. We put in a dog park. This was at the request of several citizens up at the canyon at the Timpanogos Park. It has crushed granite, has a water area for small dogs, one for big dogs, has a wash station, has some wild grass, beautiful spot. And we just opened up this last Tuesday our splash pad over at Palisades Park on 800 North, where the old Cascade Golf Course was. This is a great park. It actually kind of shows what Timpanogos looks like. It outlines it. Has 5 waterfalls coming down. The water goes into a stream, meanders, splits, and then comes back together, and we actually have a vortex of water at the end. Beautiful spot. It's been busy ever since it opened up. Next year, we're going to have 2 new parks. We're putting in a new pickleball court park for seniors and middle-aged people. We had a bunch of people come to City Council and request this. We heard their request. We're using care tax funds, and we're building 8 courts that are regulation courts just for pickleball, and it will be off 4th East. And I think you'll love it when you see it and start to play in it and at it. We're also putting in and looking forward to a bike skills park up Timpanogos Canyon by Timpanogos Park, up Provo Canyon at Timpanogos Park. And that will be coming in the spring as well. So we're working hard to make our parks destination parks and to make them ones that our public are proud of and really enjoy. So I think that together with supporting the arts, we work very hard to support the Sierra, the Hale, many other groups within our community. That together with recreation. In the last 4 years, we put in a brand new swimming pool for children, indoor at a recreation center. We relined the existing pools, and we're putting money away. We put $1 million away in savings this year that is going to go to help refurbish our recreation center. Now, one thing that also helps us to be Family Center USA is that we have put in over $10 million of new money into infrastructure to keep the quality of life here within Orem and to make it a great place to live. So I love Orem. I've worked hard for the city. The mayor's job is a part-time job that I put in over 50 hours a week on, and we work hard to build for the future. The City Council has been great to work with, and I think that we've accomplished a lot. So 4 years ago when I was running for mayor, the mall was sitting there with 2 empty anchor stores out of 3. 10 regular stores were empty and 14 kiosks were empty. Midtown Village was basically a ghost town, had insulation flapping in the wind. The weeds were really tall and the fences were down. It looked terrible. The city was considering raising taxes to get more revenue. They were cutting services. Our police and fire personnel were not as high in number as we needed to be. Today, after 4 years, I'm proud to bring forward that the University Mall has a $500 million expansion going on. They've put themselves and made themselves into a mixed-use facility. They have new office building. They've refurbished the inside of the mall. They have a new park. They're building a new parking garage. They're building new buildings for other stores to come to. To give you an idea, R.C. Willey combined and went into the mall, and their sales are 30% higher than they were before. If you look at Tucano's, their sales are the highest they've ever had in 20 years of existence in 10 stores there at University Mall. So great things are happening at the mall. A lot of new stores are coming. A lot of places, businesses want to be at the mall. Midtown Village, we brought in a developer who purchased that property, developed it. It's 80% full on the north and south towers. It's been completely redone, has a new amenity package, has 2 new west towers going up. It looks beautiful. People love to live there. We've had no tax increases. Our bond debt is down. Our revenues for sales tax is up. Our revenues for property taxes are up. Our revenues for franchise taxes are up. And we've not raised any property taxes whatsoever. So a lot of great things have happened in the city. Again, like I mentioned earlier, we've had over 60 new businesses and restaurants come into the city. The west side, which is kind of a wedge, an industrial wedge, is starting to turn into more of office buildings and great spaces over there. We have United Parcel Service doubled the size of their facility. We have a plumbing business that's very large that's come in over there. So a lot of great things are happening. Again, as I look at it, we have 40 new police cars that we've purchased over the last 4 years. We have a new ladder fire truck that we've purchased. We've brought in new bulletproof vests for our policemen. We brought in new body cameras for our policemen. We brought in new breathing apparatus for our firemen. And one day when I was over at Fire Station 3 talking to the firemen, they were showing me how they use the Jaws of Life. And this is a hydraulic set of Jaws of Life that sits on one truck and it goes out to a car accident. And if a person is in the car and can't get out, they use the Jaws of Life to cut through the metal and get the person out. But as I tried to pick up the Jaws of Life, I could hardly pick it up. And I asked him, I said, isn't there a better way than this? Because this looks really heavy and really awkward. And they said, Mayor, it's kind of funny you asked that. There is a better way. There are battery-operated Jaws of Life out there, and we would love to have them. So I said, well, let me talk to our city staff, our city manager, and our council and see what we can do. They agreed that we ought to do this. Our fire chief agreed. We then went and got appropriations from the city council. We purchased new Jaws of Life. So where we were only able to get Jaws of Life out to 20% of the accidents, we now have Jaws of Life at all of the fire stations. They're battery operated. They're lightweight. We can cover 80% of all accidents, 4 times as much. That's a little thing, but that's something that's very, very important. So there are a lot of little things like that. On 1600 North, over by Northridge Grade School, we had someone who was killed. And I looked at that and I said, can't we do better with what we're doing in protecting our children? That's not an area you'd normally have a crosswalk, but I asked for one. We got a crossing guard put in there, and we're protecting our children. We got a brand new hawk system put in over by Orchard Elementary and protecting our children there. So we've worked hard in our community to beautify, to bring in new recreation, to bring in new equipment for safety, to protect, to get our community moving forward and into the future in ways that will be a help for our children and our grandchildren. Thank you. So you can go to my website at www.richardbrunst.com. And you can look at various items about what I've done on my Facebook page. The other thing is, it's interesting to go to the Orem website and also to the Daily Herald and just punch in my name, and you'll see me doing a Congo dance with kids at the new splash pad park. You'll see me going down the slide at our new children's swimming pool at the recreation center in my suit. You'll even see me doing a belly flop off the diving board at our Sarah pool, helping to raise funds for our new all-ability park. We're having fun in Orem. Orem truly is Family City USA, and we're building for the future. Thank you.